In the next major update, Gaishin's releasing the MiG-25 Foxbat. This plane is really fast and flies really high. So much so that Gaishin's actually increased the max altitude limit to around 120,000 feet. Now I wanted to take this thing out in a real game to fly myself, but the problem is, I'm not a Gaijin partner. So I immediately thought to myself, what other plane could possibly get to this altitude? There's only a few manned aircraft that have actually made it up that high. But in War Thunder, there's really only one other plane that has ever been able to conquer the heavens. This is the F-15A Streak Eagle, and this paint is not just for show. The Streak Eagle had its cannon, radar, and even its paint completely removed just so that they could make it as light as possible. Its goal? To break every time to climb record that the MiG-25 just set only a few years earlier. So today, I'm going to be taking the F-15 Streak Eagle to its record-breaking height of 98,000 feet, as well as breaking a few other time to climb records in the process. Unfortunately though, there will be no cinematics, cause something's up with the dev server and makes the shots look like this. Yeah, I don't know why. But yeah, no cinematics this video, sorry about that. So we're here in the dev server. We got the Streak Eagle skin, of course. And I have a custom map that gives me the proper thrust to weight that I need. I can't remove weight, unfortunately, but I can add it. And that's what we're gonna do here. Alright, we're only gonna be doing 3 records here today. But the Streak Eagle did break like, I don't know, 7 or something. But the 3 we're gonna be doing are the 12,000 meters, the 20,000 meters, and the big one, 30,000 meters. So we're gonna start with 12,000 meters. The target is 39,000 feet. We're gonna be accelerating to 0.7 Mach, pulling 80 degrees at 5 Gs pulling up to 80 degrees. And going to 39,000 feet. And time starts on afterburner since I can't really hold brake with this amount of thrust. Alright, pulling up, wheels up, gear up. 0.7 Mach, really can only see it here. Is right around here. We're gonna start pulling to about 80 degrees. Right here. Pretty much going straight up. Breaking the sound barrier on the way. Almost to 39,000 already. There's 39. And that's 12,000 meters. That is kind of insane. Alright, moving on. Alright, the next one is 20,000 meters, which the target is 65,000 feet. It's a little different than the conventional straight up run restricted climb. We do a 2G loop that goes up and right back over the airfield, going inverted. And the target for that altitude is 32,000 feet. We're going to roll over, go to 1.5 Mach, and then go up to a 55 degree climb. But time starts at afterburner. 20,000 meters. Here. I'm going to start the climb. I'm going to break the sound barrier during it, of course. Oh, not really much of a conventional loop, but can't really pull a super consistent loop with mouse and keyboard. Just gotta guesstimate on how much you pull. But the target speed that we hit at 32K is 1.1 Mach, which we're almost at... Alright, we're almost at 32k, so we're just going to level out here. It's about where I want to be. We're going to pull up at 1.5 Mach, which we're about to hit before we hit 32,000. Which is not a big deal, but... Alright, going up. Gotta go to 55 degrees. 60 will do. Gonna also try and get our engines to help push us. So we're gonna increase angle of attack a little bit. It should be smooth, super easy to hit 65k though for this plane. Almost there. There is 65k. 20,000 meters. And some. 68, actually. Very nice view from up here. But it's gonna get a whole lot cooler. Alright, the moment you've all been waiting for. 30,000 meters, 98,000 feet. Same takeoff profile, except we're gonna accelerate to 2.2 Mach to get to 98,000. So, time starts on afterburner. Going up. I'm going to try and keep this one a little more consistent than the other attempts to try and get 32,000 feet. And for some reason in this profile, we started... after we hit 32,000 feet, we start a steady climb to 37,000 feet. But at 37,000 feet, Mach 2.2 is where we pull up. But in War Thunder, I can't subtract weight on the Eagle, which they subtract weight on the actual F-15. So we're the same weight as the standard F-15, but we have more thrust. So in order for us to hit 98,000 feet, I'm going to have to go faster than 2.2. I was doing testing earlier, and the fastest I need to go is around 2.4 Mach to just barely get to 98,000 feet. So I have to hit 2.4 Mach as I'm starting the initial 60-degree pull. We're going to start the steady climb to 37,000 feet. So that's the target. Here's 2.2. We should be pulling now, but we're not. We're still too heavy. So we have to hit like 2.39 before we start pulling. Maybe a little sooner. Alright, going up. Alright, we're gonna go a little more than 60 degrees to try and get our engines to push us most of the way. So we're gonna go at like 80. Actually, we're gonna go 70. 70, 75. There goes 65,000 feet. We're just there. The slower we get, the more vertical I have to go to get the engines to push us. The actual record, they turned off their engines and let the velocity of the fighter take them the whole way, but they were also a lot lighter than we are. 90,000. Straight vertical here. 96. 97. 98. We get the exact altitude. Oh my gosh, we almost did. We were just 10 foot off the actual record. Actual record height. Alright. Let's regain control because this plane just made history. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry I couldn't really make much cinematic-wise. The dev server was really giving me trouble with the graphics. Let me know if you want me to retry when they fix it in the dev server or when it comes to the main server. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.